Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India, Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, it is commemorated as International Civil Aviation Day on 7th December. The purpose of Civil Aviation Day is to help generate and reinforce worldwide awareness of the importance of international civil aviation to the social and economic development of states and of the unique role of ICAO in helping states to cooperate and realize a truly global rapid transit network at the service of all mankind. As the UN and world nations have now adopted Agenda 2030 and embarked on a new era in the global sustainable development and importance of aviation as an engine of global connectivity has never been more relevant to the Chicago Convention's objectives to look to international flight as a fundamental enabler of global peace and prosperity. Every 5 years, coinciding with ICAO anniversaries 2014, 2019, 2024, 2029, etc., the ICAO Council establishes a special anniversary theme day. Between these anniversary years, Council representatives select a single theme for the full 4-year intervening period. So the Council has decided that from now until 2023, the theme will be Advancing Innovation for Global Aviation Development. 75 years of connecting the world of ICAO's foundation, the International Civil Aviation Network carries for over 4 billion passengers annually. The global air transport sector supports 65.5 million jobs and US dollars 2.7 trillion in global economic activity, with over 10 million women and men working within the industry to ensure 1,20,000 flights and 12 million passengers a day are carried safely to their destinations. The wider supply chain, flow on impacts and jobs in tourism made possible by air transport show that at least 65.5 million jobs and 3.6% of global economic activity are supported by the aviation industry, according to research by the Air Transport Action Group. When we look at the background of this commemoration day, in 1944, delegates from 54 nations gathered in the Grand Ballroom of the Stevens Hotel in Chicago at the invitation of the United States of America. At this event, the participants concluded and signed the Convention of International Civil Aviation also more popularly known as Chicago Convention, the defining international agreement which since permitted the global civil aviation system to develop peacefully and in a manner benefiting all peoples and nations of the world. International Civil Aviation Day was established in 1994 and part of ICAO's 50th anniversary activities. In 1996, pursuant to an ICAO initiative and with the assistance of the Canadian government, the United Nations General Assembly adopted Resolution 51 by 33, which officially recognized 7th December as International Civil Aviation Day in the UN system. The document recalled the preamble of the convention states and the future development of international civil aviation can greatly help to preserve friendship and understanding among the nations and peoples of the world. Further, the General Assembly urged governments as well as relevant regional, international, and intergovernmental organizations to take appropriate steps to observe International Civil Aviation Day. There are various conventions which are related to this commemoration: Convention on International Civil Aviation, Convention for Suppression of Unlawful Acts Against the Safety of Civil Aviation, 1971, Protocol for the Suppression of Unlawful Acts of Violence at Airports Serving International Civil Aviation, 1988, Convention for the Suppression of Unlawful Seizure of Aircraft, 1970, Convention on Offences and Certain Other Acts Committed on Board Aircraft, 1963. So a new generation and the future of the flight innovation is the way forward. This is true for all areas of human endeavor, including aviation, and just as in the past, aviation will be a key innovator and early adapter when it comes to the technologies of the future. ICAO's main role in supporting aviation innovation is through a responsive and dynamic regulatory assessment approach that encourages new developments and accelerate their harmonization so that the sector can take advantage of the incredible new performance and capabilities these development promise. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, UAS, drones, these frontier technologies have been recognized by the global community as having a pivotal role in the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Artificial intelligence becoming more commonplace in increasing productivity across all sectors of the industry, blockchain can provide a reliable method of storing data and performing the transaction in order to ensure that data cannot be falsified. Unmanned aircraft operations will involve stakeholders familiar with the aviation as well as many who are not. So International Civil Aviation Day, as already mentioned, was established in 1994 as part of ICAO's 50th anniversary activities. In 1996, pursuant to an ICAO initiative and with the assistance of the Canadian government, the United Nations General Assembly officially recognized 7th December as International Civil Aviation Day in the UN system. The purpose of International Civil Aviation Day is to help generate and reinforce Worldwide awareness of the importance of international civil aviation to the social and economic development of the states and of the unique role of ICAO in helping states to cooperate and realize a truly global rapid transit network at the service of all mankind. As the UN and world nations have adopted Agenda 2030 and embarked on a new era in global sustainable development, the importance of aviation as an engine of global connectivity has never been more relevant to the Chicago Convention's objectives to look to the international flight as a fundamental enabler of global peace and prosperity. Every 5 years, coinciding with ICAO anniversaries, the council representative select a single theme for the full year intervening period, as we have seen. So ICAO's strategic objectives are strongly linked to 15 of 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The organization is fully committed to work in close cooperation with states and other UN bodies to support related targets. ICAO is also an official observer on the Interagency and Expert Group on Sustainable Development Goal Indicators and is the custodian agency of Global Indicator 9.1.2 passenger and freight volumes by mode of transport within the 2030 Agenda framework. ICAO continuously contributes to monitoring effects of the 2030 Agenda and other development frameworks as appropriate. ICAO has developed a methodology to calculate the carbon dioxide emissions from air travel for use in offset programs. The methodology applies the best publicity available and publicly available industry data to account for various factors such as aircraft types, route-specific data, passenger load factors, and cargo carried. The ICAO carbon emissions calculator allows passengers to estimate the emissions attributed to their air travel. It is simple to use and requires only a limited amount of information from the user. ICEC is the only internationally approved tool to estimate carbon emissions from air travel. Today is also commemorated as National Cotton Candy Day. On December 7th, to our sweet tooth's joy and our dentist's dismay. But dentists actually invented it in the first place. It was even called as fairy floss back in the day. So now it's go to at county fairs and must have when riding a Ferris wheel. Most of our childhood memories wouldn't have been complete without the sugary cloud that is cotton candy. So dentist William Morrison and confectioner John C. Wharton are credited for the invention of machine-spun cotton candy in 1897. Following the invention of the machine-spun cotton candy, it was finally introduced to a wide audience at the World's Fair in St. Louis as Fairy Floss in 1904. It came about when a dentist, Joseph Lasaux, built a machine and sold the treat to patients in his Louisiana office in 1925. The world's biggest cotton candy manufacturer, Tootsie Roll Industries, produces bagged cotton candy called Fluffy Stuff. So buy some and celebrate, maybe try new flavor for the first time, like banana, green apple, strawberry, and so on. If you enjoyed cotton candy with someone at your engage, celebrate with them. We are sure sweet memories will accompany this sweet fix. Think you could do better than the dentist who created it? Give it a shot and try various flavors while you are at it. When you spun cotton candy, all the white because it's made from sugar, just sugar. Adding dye can transform the color. So sugar is the only true ingredient. Though thin, the treat can be very long. In fact, the longest cotton candy was created in July 2009 and stretched over 1,400 meters. So a thread of candy, cotton candy, is thinner than a strand of human hair. Cotton candy has different names around the world. In England, it is called candy floss. In Australia and Finland, it's called fairy floss. In Netherlands, it is known as suikerspin, which means sugar spider. Traveling to France, call it a barbie, a papa, which means papa's bird. So if you are needing a sweet fix, this is your bucket to that sugar high you are craving. Not only is the cotton candy easy to store, it makes no mess. It's just soft clouds of sugar that can visually so not only is cotton candy easy to store, it makes no mess. It's just soft clouds of sugar that can easily be folded up and eaten in less than a minute. So quick, easy, and no crumbs. Carnivals, fairs, and more cotton candy brings the memories back. We love feeling like kids again. Today is also commemorated National Joy Day on December 7th every year as a day to appreciate all the people named. Joy is the English word that is used to describe extreme happiness or elevated pleasure. It is a synonym of words such as delight, elation, and bliss. In the Middle Ages, so the 1988 US Social Security Administration data reported that joy is considered a sweet name that conveys the emotions and values of child's parents. It is a virtue just like pride, faith, and hope. Joy had obviously The age of the backspace key, it is easy to take back as thought once you have expressed, but it means we lost the art of reflecting before we communicate, and then expressing a thought or a sentiment into flowing cursive rag. Today is commemorated as National Letter Writing Day. In Finland, for example, schools no longer teach handwriting, with students given the choice to learn to type instead. It's an opportunity to reconnect. These days, big corporations are the biggest users of the US mail system, but that means many of us are missing out on the physical pleasures inherent in writing a letter or nice strategy and sending it through the mail system with a stamp. From various presidents to wildlife, sports, and celebrating important aspects of our country's history, stamps are a neat way of expressing your personality through the postage. Today is also commemorated as Pearl Harbor Day. Of remembrance in US, a day of infamy, the day Japan attacked the United States at Pearl Harbor, is commemorated with the National Pearl Harbor Day of Remembrance each year on December 7th. On this day in 1941, more than 240,000 people died in Japan's attack on the Hawaiian base of American Pacific Fleet. Hundreds of aircrafts were destroyed or damaged, as were the most of the ships in the harbor. Thousands of aircraft were destroyed or damaged, as were the most ships in the harbor, and thousands of servicemen and women were killed or injured. It was an unprecedented surprise attack that precipitated the United States' entry into World War II as we sided the Allies and declared war on Japan. So Japan troops attacked China from the north and invade China in 1937, and World War II begins with America not joining the war in 1939. The first attacks on Pearl Harbor started with a wave of planes bombing the harbor for over 2 hours. On December 7, 1941, American troops dropped 2 atomic bombs in Japan, bringing an end to World War II in August 1945. So the families left behind often struggle with expenses and loneliness while their husbands and wives are overseas. Adopt a family in your community and be there to offer help. It could be as simple as attending the kids' games, dropping off some food, or giving a gas card. Small acts of kindness can help them keep a family together, even when they are apart. The life you are living today would be impossible without the sacrifices of December 7th and of all the wars the country has been in. Honor the memory of those lost by living the best life you can and work to make life better for those coming after you. The United States was in peace talks with Japan when Japan launched 350 warplanes in a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. Some of the Pacific Fleet, 330 US planes and 19 ships were damaged or destroyed, and thousands of people were killed or injured. Japan's design on the Philippines, then a territory of the United States, precipitated their attack on the Pearl Harbor in an attempt to destroy the Pacific Fleet and buy time them to conquer what they referred to as Southern Resource Zone. Up until then, the mainly isolationist position of the US prevented our entrance into World War II. That position disintegrated with the attack as the American people united in a call to war, a call that eventually led to the Allies winning that war. It is a good time to think of the hardships and ordeals endured by our servicemen and women every day and everywhere in the world. The United States is in a position of being the policeman of the world, with hundreds of thousands in servicemen and women deployed in the protection of country and people everywhere. Remember them in your actions and prayers. Today is commemorated as Unduva full moon Poya in Sri Lanka. It is an important festival in the history of Sri Lanka, which is based on the arrival of Sanghamitta. This commemorates the arrival of Sanghamitta Theri, the daughter of Ashoka, in Sri Lanka with bow sapling from the sacred Jayasri Mahabodhi in India during the month of Unduva. It usually falls on the last full moon day of the year in December, the 9th month of the Sinhalese calendar. It celebrates the arrival of bow tree sampling in Anuradhapura, which was brought by the Ashoka's daughter Sanghamitta. History states that Lord Buddha attained enlightenment by meditating under a Bodhi tree in Bihar, India. Years later, Sanghamitta, along with several members of the royal family, entered the sannyasa in Dambakola Patuna port in the Jaffna on a Unduva Poya day. The sacred bow sapling was brought to Sri Lanka in a golden bowl and thereafter planted in the Mahavena garden in Arunadapura. Bow saplings from this tree were taken to other parts of the island to spread the Buddhist philosophy and culture. Moreover, Sanghamitta has also spread her diverse skills in crafts and disciplines such as woodwork, agriculture, indigenous medicine, etc., which helped in the development of the country. On this day, every year, Buddhist devotees flock to Anuradhapura in thousands on Unduva full moon Poya day to pay homage to the sacred bow tree. It is also said that Lord Buddha visited Sri Lanka during his lifetime. Today, the most sacred tree in the world is Jayasri Mahabodhi, standing at Mahavena Yuana. In Sri Lanka, every full moon day is a public holiday, and each of these days has its own name and commemorates key events in Buddhism. These full moon days or Poya will change each year on these days, and shops and business usually remain closed, and the sale of meat and alcohol is forbidden. The Lord Buddha was born in the sacred area of Lumini located in southern Nepal in 623 BC. King Devanampiya Tissa plants the sacred bow sampling in Sri Lanka was planted in 249 BC. The invasion of Anuradhapura is abandoned after the invasion 993 AD. Anuradhapura is added to the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 1980. Isala Poya, that takes on the full moon in the 8th lunar month, usually in July. This celebrates Buddha's first sermon and the arrival of Tooth Relic in Sri Lanka. Poison is one of the most important religious events for Buddhists in Sri Lanka because marks the introduction of Buddhism in the island by Arahant Mahadina in the 3rd century BC. Arahant Madina, the son of King Ashoka, introduced Buddhism to Sri Lanka during the 3rd century BC. The king of Sri Lanka, Devanampiya Tissa, converted to Buddhism shortly after Mahadina's arrival. So the greatest way to observe Unduva full moon Poya day is to connect with Buddhism, learn about Lord Buddha, Buddhism rich history, principles and culture. Sri Lanka is not only famous for Buddhism, but also for its rich culture and green forest. You can feel the melodies of nature sprinkled with freshness of pure flora and fauna in Sri Lanka. If you have been to Sri Lanka, you can use social media to share some of the fascinating things that happened there with the world. You can also spread the word to your family and friends and incredible country. So Buddhists don't believe in a God and there is none to worship. Anyone can be Buddha. A Buddha is a person who has achieved enlightenment. Meditation is a big part of the teaching and every monk practices it several times a day, and meditation is important. Scholars say that Buddhism is a way of life that shouldn't be confused with a religion, and it's not a religion. There are more than 500 million Buddhists in the world as of 2022. It is a special day. Full moon Poya Day is a special day that the whole nation of Equatorial Guinea expects every year. During the celebration, the people of Guinea fill their hearts with happiness, peace, and goodness. The Full Moon Poya Day is an annual event that emphasizes prosperity and peace for the nation. So it's a day to unwind, relax, and find a way to become enlightened, just like Siddhartha Gautama. Full Moon Poya Day honors not only the full moon of the year, but also the thousands of people who have given their time, effort, and lives to spread Buddhism. Devotees flock to temples to take part in the religious rites. So with this, we shall end the commemorations of the day. So we thank everyone for joining us on this wonderful occasion for the commemorations. So the feedback form has been raised in the form of polls. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form. All the certificates will be issued at the end of the series and will be updated on the website. So see you all tomorrow at the same time with the same link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.